Hot like butter. Speaking of butter, award-winning chef and restaurateur David Chang is out with a new cookbook today. His first in more than a decade. It's called Cooking at Home and How I Learned to Stop Worrying About Recipes. Chang teamed up with Priya Krishna, a New York Times food reporter who is already a best-selling author. The pair joined Jamie Yuccas in the kitchen, where the professional chef revealed his go-to shortcut, their microwave.
Yum.
David Chang has mastered the kitchens of some of the most celebrated restaurants in the world. But these days, he's learning to be a seasoned cook at home.
I don't think I've ever made a recipe the same way more than once.
It's a bit of unfamiliar territory for the six-time James Beard Award winner. He opened Momofuku Noodle Bar in New York City in 2004 and has since rolled out restaurants, books, a podcast, and TV shows to create his empire.
I don't want to cook. I want to see this robot outcook me.
Now, alongside his co-author, Priya Krishna, he's trying to let go of the rigid rules he adheres to in his restaurants.
I actually had never cooked at home. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous. I wasn't a young kid that tried to get in the culinary profession. My dad worked in the restaurant industry, and he worked his entire life to make sure I would never work in the restaurant industry. And I got into cooking after college, and I never thought about cooking at home.
What are we serving today?
But as the pandemic persisted, Chang, like many of us, found himself dusting off the pots and pans in his home kitchen.
So good. The beauty of cooking is sort of treating recipes like guidelines and not like the gospel truth.
It's super important for people to know that, you know, authentic cooking or making something exactly from a recipe is that never actually going to happen.
Chang and Krishna's book is a roadmap to working with what's in the fridge and learning to season. Krishna was raised on her mom's Indian cuisine in a home where meat was never served. Her bestseller, Indianish, highlights her culture's colorful dishes. Chang's parents immigrated from Korea in the 1960s.
Wow.
Their tastes could not be more different, but together they created a book full of flavor.
How do you know this is done and your chicken isn't overcooked?
I just know.
We had so many hours-long conversations of me just being like, just tell me how long to cook the brisket for. And Dave being like, I can't tell you, it just depends.
It was a difficult moment in the creation of the book.
The book is also full of tips, like use your freezer as a pantry.
You'd be surprised at what you can chuck in your freezer. You can grate cheddar cheese, throw it in your freezer. There's very little I won't put in my freezer now.
I've basically become my mom because my freezer is a nightmare. Things that I was embarrassed about growing up was like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to see what's in our freezer because it's like a taxidermy experience. Yeah. Like, I don't know why, what? I open the fridge and I'm like, oh man, I got like 20 minutes, I gotta make something, and I'm like, what do I do?
When Chang is short on time, he speeds things up in a microwave with a passion that might surprise you.
It is a machine from the future here in present day, and people are like, no, I don't want to use it. I'm like, people want their packages delivered faster, they want to see things on demand, but they want to cook something as slow as possible. And I have a hard time grasping that. You can't get things crunchy and golden brown, but you can start in the microwave and then finish it in a pan.
On this day, they're whipping up chicken coconut curry and cacio e pepe.
If you do it in a blender, it's foolproof.
It really is born out of total laziness.
So good, so good.
But a peek at Chang's Instagram reveals delicious and nutritious food isn't just the key to his heart, it's who he's making it for, his wife Grace and son Hugo.
Hi, Papa. I'm eating chocolate.
You're gonna eat chocolate.
You love your family, you love cooking. I think as a man, though, too, to show your devotion to your family is a big thing.
I never thought I'd be able to experience the ability to love something more than myself. It's caused me to realize just how selfish I was and how I would live my life. And cooking at home made me understand why I should be cooking to begin with. I love it now. I can't imagine any other way.
What do you think, Hugo? Good?
I'm still learning how to communicate to my family. The easiest way for me to do it is through food.
It's a delicious way.
Yes, it is.
Dinner's ready. Thanks, Hugo.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Jamie Yukas in Los Angeles.